Hello, welcome to a new live. Uh, like always, sorry, first of all, apologize for the little delay. Yeah, 10 minutes of delay. I usually give only 5. I was having some small account issues with my OBS setting. That's a very common thing from all lives, but welcome. Like always, first of all, let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me well also. Please just leave a comment on the chat. I also added a little music in the background. Let me know if you can hear it, if the volume is okay, if my volume is okay with the music. Before I start, I think that there was someone that shared a message on the chat just like a few minutes ago. Yeah, just to say hello to Orhiber. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. You know, that's a very common thing from the live streams. But yeah, thanks man for being here. Okay, like that that everything is running fine. Like to hear it. And thanks for being here. That's a very important thing. Well, today streaming is about, let's say it, gossip a little bit about the upcoming new release from Houdini, which is the Houdini 21. I think that, yeah, we can see the trailer together, discuss a few things, trying to understand one of the new features that we can see on the trailer, but also on the forum thread that was created from Animatrix, which is a pretty famous user from Houdini that works on ELM. He shared like a, let me show you here. He shared, no, this is not the tab. Yeah, he shared like a kind of complete or almost complete list of new features that appears in the end of the trailer. And yeah, try to digest some of this. I think that this release looks like that it will be more focused on improve something that we already saw on the previous one on Houdini 20.5. They are improving a lot the npm solver, and also of course probably the favorite from the people for the Copernicus toolset. Looks like they will be like the most heavy thing that we will see on this release. Like always, they have features for multiple kind of users and industries. They have stuff for rigging, stuff for upscaling volumes using machine learning toolsets. So yeah, I think that I am very excited about this new release. Definitely, I saw the trailer last night. It was a bit late here, so yeah, I thought that might be cool to make this live today and talk a little bit about some of these new features. I think that I am very excited about the Karma features. Probably some of you already know that I use Redshift renderer for most of my stuff. I also know how to use Karma. I play well with it, but definitely, it is not bad at all, but it is still young compared with other render solutions that we have on the market right now. But I think that maybe we definitely SideFX improve Karma on each release. They put a lot of new things, so which is pretty good. So okay, let's start. Well, and let me Unfortunately, probably I need to disable the audio because I don't know if YouTube will just shut down the live if the audio from this video is played. But I want to shout out that the music from the SideFX trailers is always pretty good. So whoever is making those edits has a nice music taste. So yeah, well, here the first thing we can see is some kind of bubble particles. I believe that those are created with the new 2D flow solver from Cops that they show in the end of the trailer. So that's we can talk about that a little bit later. The first feature that we see is this new tool set for muscles called Otis that has a lot of GPU stuff involved. I don't have too much experience with, well, no, I don't have experience with muscles at all. Of course, this is for VFX, probably for medium and so on VFX studios that has a lot of CFX works. I think that it is pretty fun to see that the first thing that they show is like the balls from the dog. But well, yeah, probably I know I heard from a few artists that the current toolset for muscles in Houdini, which is driven by Velium, is very complicated to manage, to build it up. So it's like it is a good one, but it is very complex. Maybe this new workflow or this new toolset will solve those kind of pain points by making the workflow simple. I don't know. So yeah, I guess that a lot of character artists are happy with this one. One thing that we can see here that the performance of the animation it looks good. They have this new they included this new geometry test geometry character, which is called Auto, and looks like it is like a sort of very procedural human model with to play and build a lot of muscle works with this. We can see that they changed the topology with some controllers that they left on the character, and you can change the body and a lot of things, which looks very interesting. But again, of course, this is like a very specific for CFX works. Okay, one of the biggest one. Before play this one, I have to say that probably this is one of the more I don't know, obscene renders on simulation that I have seen on my life. Not only because they are cracking the cookies on this shot, but on the next one when they mix the cookies with the milk and the foam and all the simulation stuff happening at the same time. Definitely it is very interesting. NPM is a very interesting solver environment because you can simulate different type of objects or particle properties in one single solver, which is very powerful. Very interesting. This the cream creation, it's stunning. The look of this, it is pretty good. I really hope that they can share this scene into the Houdini content library. For example, if you, in case you don't know it, on the SideFX website, we have something called the content library. We can find them here on the learn section and content library. They share a lot of scenes and a lot of stuff that usually we see on the Houdini releases trailers. So yeah, I hope that they share the coffee scene. Definitely will be very interesting to take a look and understand how the npm is configured. Yeah, definitely the cracking of the cookies is so amazing. I believe that I believe that we have something around like a 10 seconds of delay between the chat and the video, but that's okay. I always forgot how many seconds I have from delay. But yeah, the content library, for example, here we can find the previous npm examples that they shared from Houdini 20.5 release. For example, we can see the snowboard sequence that is the one that we see on the splash screen from Houdini, and we can just download it and learn how it is built and that kind of things. For example, one of my favorite files from the content library right now is the COPS mega file. It has a lot of Copernicus examples that are pretty interesting to study. I still haven't checked this one, the Houdini cream cake. It also looks interesting, but well, what can I say after so the cookies seen from Houdini 21? Definitely that will be my new favorite. But yeah, npm looks very powerful. Okay, now we have neutral point surface. On my understanding, this is like a sort of approximation to improve some point clouds from simulations. Again, yeah, this is only me sharing gossips of what I understanding from the or what we can understand from the trailer. But yeah, if we see, I think that it is better to see it on this shot where we see the ref, which I guess is the input from the MPS. And on the right side, we see the final result from the MPS, and we can see that, for example, this is a common issue on low resolution fluid simulation, where we start to see this kind of holes on the thin sheets from the liquids. But when we have lower resolution, some part of the mesh also disappear with a kind of flickering look, which is a little a headache when you are working with these kind of things. Let's play it again. You can see it here on this section is the part where I think it is more evident. I hope that you can see my cursor, but let me know in case that you can't see it. But yeah, definitely it looks very interesting here. I think that it will be nice if they share more like not a split screen, but more like not a split the screen from the whole shot, but a split the screen with the same section of the shot. That will be a little bit easier to compare it, I think. But yeah, I think that this is the section where it's more evident, and you can see that the thin parts or the thin sheets parts from the liquids from the right section, they are more stable. I think that's the word that is important in this. It's more stable. We don't see that kind of issues, I guess, until reach more extreme situation, because if we pay attention to the bottom right section in the end on a very last frames, we can see that's a little bit of holes flickering here. Yeah, I know, looks like they they were just a collision with a kind of bounding box, as you can see here. but yeah, it's okay. NPM surface tension, definitely it's only this is always the secret sausage for liquids, and the surface tension is one of the, as far as I know, is one of the most complex things to implement without having a big impact on the performance. I remember that, for example, I believe last week or a few weeks ago, Liquid Gem was released, which is from Ganja FX software, which is a real-time liquid simulation. And the last thing that they implemented was the surface tension. I remember that a few years ago, the developer, which is called Nick, I don't remember the last name, but he was mentioning in Twitter that one of the most complex things to implement is surface tension, and definitely implement a very or do a very fast implementation of real-time liquids is even complex than real-time volume simulation that we can find with their other tool, which is called I forgot the name. Which is the name of the other tool? Let's take a look here very quickly. Embergen. I don't know why Google is trying to translate the website, but just making the long story short, he mentioned it, if I remember correctly, he mentioned that implement liquid simulation in real time definitely was more challenging than implementing fluids, but volume fluid simulation with Embergen. So let me go back to the trailer. Well, see that the SideFX implemented surface tension on NPM. It's very interesting. Of course, we need to give it a try to see how it behaves for small scale fluids, compare it with flipped volume fluids. Sorry. That those and also we have pop fluids. Though it's like we have multiple tool sets to tackle a liquid simulation in Houdini. Of course, one of the best one is still flip, but it is very expensive. The performance of flips can be of course, that's the bigger downside of working with flips, but yeah, we will be able to play with it and see how it behaves for a small scale. But this looks interesting. We can see that they are showing NPM with other kind of simulations. This is looking very good. So yeah, we will be able to play with it for a lot of cases. Let me know also what do you think about NPM, and if you have the chance to play with it on 20.5. I had the chance to use it on a few things. I believe none of them was for commercial stuff, but was for abstract things that I was doing. I don't remember clearly, but the NPM solver it works with GPU. It is fast if we compare it with Flip, but of course if we compare anything with Flip, everything will be faster than Flip. But it is not like a real-time simulation solver. But well, let's see if also the performance was improved for this release. Let's see. We can see here that one interesting thing that from NPM is that we can simulate also solid objects and make some deformations, and based on the release notes on the notes that the Animatrix shared on the forum, we will have like a tool set that will help to transfer the UVs and those kind of properties from your solid objects after the MPN simulation. So yeah, it can be used now on more kind or on a more variety of simulation cases. We will see here some new setups to edit and work with high fields using directly Copernicus, which is pretty good. I know that a lot of people was using the old COPs in combination with high fields, so it is pretty good. And well, this is the point where the good things start to to appear. Or not the good things, sorry, the favorite ones from the people. Looks like we're going to have like a lot of catalog of new noises to create new patterns, more complex or abstract. They will look very interesting. They created that Doom setup which looks very nice. And well, looks like we are going to have like an easier baking workflow implemented with Copernicus. Right now we can do baking with Karma, but it is a little bit complex if I remember, or maybe not complex, maybe cumbersome. Maybe it can be the correct word. There is like a step-by-step guide on CGWiki. You might know already here about CGWiki, which is a pretty nice website with a lot of extremely useful tips for Houdini. So yeah, Matt Stella shared a long time ago which is the current process to do baking with Karma in Solaris. But looks like this will be simpler now with this new setup. Let's see. Well, now we have the cups will work in Houdini Engine, which means that it can be used in Unreal Engine, in Unity, 3D Max and Maya probably, which are the places where Houdini Engine works. Yeah, more patterns from cups. I remember, if I remember correctly, the grunge patterns will be released later on another production build. But yeah, that's a little sad news, but because they look very interesting. But that's okay. I hope that at least will be like on the second production build. Let's see. But yeah, definitely they look very interesting. I mean, looks these bark textures. This looks stunning. I mean, they don't have this one on the, which is, well, more or less on the center. No, actually, yeah, most of them, and this one on the left too, but they look very good. It's like don't have anything to envy from a Megascans material. So good. Definitely, Cops received extremely power up since previous release, and it now works as an essential part from Houdini, which can and it can be used for a lot of users for different kind of work. Very good. The previous version of Cops was basically abandoned because it was very slow. If you compare it with the current Copernicus implementation, it was like a more divorced from the rest of Houdini. You communicate subs with Cops was not as easy as it is right now. So yeah, more material presets, some of them looks interesting. The lava preset looks very good to me. The wall with the bullet holes looks interesting. This kind of old letter looks interesting too. So very good. Yeah, and now we are going to have also some noises, but yeah, jumping a little bit outside from Copernicus. Now they are mentioning here that Vulkan viewport. Well, this is not mentioned on the trailer, but it is on the other notes that Vulkan it's finally production ready and it has the 101 the same features than the older OpenGL viewport. I really hope that one of those goodies that Vulkan receive is a little improvement on the performance. I remember that when I believe it was when Houdini 20.5 was released, some users shared it on the forum some comparisons, and they discovered that the performance of Vulkan, which was in theory on a good place on 20.5, was a bit slower than OpenGL. Yeah, of course that was a little bit disappointing, but okay, I want to believe that because, well, SideFX usually here their user base, and I hope that this new update will bring better performance and better results and a lot of stuff. I at least on my side, I have better results after, I don't know, maybe the third production build or something like that. I don't remember. Right now I am on Houdini 25.654. That's the version, which is I believe it is still the latest production build until now. I switched to Vulkan after the second build or something like that, because I was working, I was doing a few stuff with Copernicus, and if you want to squeeze the viewport representation with Copernicus completely, you will need to use Vulkan. You can't use it with OpenGL entirely. There will be some stuff that can't be used in OpenGL. So yeah, now we are going to have the chance to display Gaussian splats directly in viewport, which is very interesting. This is something that start to be more present I believe in most of the DCCs actually. I recommend, if you didn't have the chance to saw this presentation, but I recommend you to check the XK presentation from Houdini High from this year, I believe from April, I don't remember. And they shared some experiments with Gaussian splats and a library called gsplats subs, if I remember the name correctly, but they shared it on the presentation. They share a very nice render test and also one of the senior designers or art director from Future Deluxe, which I believe Nick Scarella, I believe is the name. I'm going to check it on my phone just to give you the correct reference. He is sharing some experiments with manipulating gsplats point clouds directly in Houdini, and sorry, I am trying to do the multitasking of talking and looking for the post. But yeah, manipulating the point clouds from Houdini, from the gsplats directly in Houdini, that gives a lot of very interesting results. Nick Scarcella. is the name from the senior designer from Future Deluxe. And give me 1 second to show you the test that he shared on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I have it. Yeah, you can see it here. It is like loading the GSplats, probably converting it into a point cloud and doing some noise mountain magic to create this kind of abstract movement on the square section. Very nice and very interesting. So yeah, see more implementations, and also why not, let's look for the XK test. If I believe, don't remember which one. I don't know if it is the first one, this one. Or maybe check their Instagram. Oh yeah, they always do awesome presentations, so definitely recommend you to check it. It is asking me to log in, but yeah, take a look to their Instagram, you will see it. And here is it, but this one, it was the off presentation, so 100% recommended. Okay, let's go back to the sneak peek. But yeah, let's see how you may know that the Gaussian splat is AI related technology, which is still like a very controversial thing on the industry, but this kind of things is what I think is interesting about the AI ecosystem, that you can load some stuff and make some abstract things, and how you can introduce your creativity into these kind of new workflows. So definitely for the VFX artists or VFX pipelines, having Gaussian splats representation for scenarios probably can give more quicker integrations on the shots and that kind of thing. So yeah, very interesting. Let's continue. Okay, here they are mentioning that now the geometry lights can be made of points, curves, mesh, or volumes as light source. I don't know. I don't quite understand completely what they are trying to share here, because I don't know if this is related to viewport. Probably it is, because as far as I remember, Karma already supported geometry lights, so I don't know. But yeah, okay, cool. And this shot was very cool. Okay, this is one of the most requested features to work on Karma XPU, the prime-bar driven texture maps. Unfortunately, that was a limitation that Karma XPU has, but not Karma CPU. Actually, last week I shared some examples about this on Mob's Discord. You can take a look if you want, because we shared like some workarounds and solution for this. But yeah, definitely this is a pretty good thing to have on Karma XPU. But they mentioned here that the prime-bar driven texture maps in Solaris. I don't know if this is something that somehow it is a setup that can be used by all the render engines. I don't know. So yeah. Okay, the Karma full shader now has dirt and wet controls. Yeah, this is something very interesting to see. Now Apex has like a well, it is called component catalog. But Apex rigging has something very interesting. I believe that Unreal Engine last year releases something similar to this, that it is basically something that helps you to build the rigs more quicker. So I didn't have the chance to explore Apex yet, but I want to believe that probably they are a little bit easier to handle on this release, and definitely having this catalog may help the rigging artists to build the rigs on the characters quicker. So yeah, a nice thing to have. And also we have some controllers and stuff to build facial rigs, so that's very nice. We can see, let's see how this works procedurally, because if you have a chance to play with characters, sometimes you will probably saw that, yeah, you can, I don't know, download a character from Examo, but the rig, it is only for the body, but not for the facial, because the facial rigging is a very complex thing to have. So yeah, but this is definitely how SideFX is still offering more new features for the character artists and the character animators to try to bring more of them inside of the Houdini ecosystem. So nice. This is something that I think it is very interesting. Because yeah, it's having like your rig, but at the same time have like a constraints on the fly to move the whole pivot of the rig more easily. It is something very interesting, and see how the Electra is rocking here. Okay, this is something that I think it is very interesting. I believe for now it looks like it works only for Apex stuff, but it is a new proposal to have a non-linear editor to manage the clips of the animation. So I believe that I don't have too much experience with Unreal, but I believe that Unreal, I don't remember the name, but it is the stage or something like that. I don't know. But Unreal has a non-linear editor to manage these kind of things. So yeah, they are trying to bring the kind of thing that the user are used to do for to use on their daily work. So this looks like a very nice implementation of it. So yeah, let's see if I hope that the character artist will be very interesting into this. The same thing with this, which is like some kind of corrective pose with another kind of non-linear editor, as we can see it here. We have tracks more or less similar to what we have on After Effects or a video editor like DaVinci Resolve. We can do like a corrective poses on the fly and on time. So this is this one was a little bit abstract to me at the beginning to understand, but yeah, after talk with some friends of mine, they explained this to me, and it is interesting. I don't know if this maybe can be used for another things rather than characters, but it looks interesting. Okay, I didn't saw that there are some comments. Hey Flick, thanks for leaving some comments on the chat. Okay, when do I think Houdini 21 will get released? They usually share it, release the Houdini version few weeks later after the sneak peek. I mean, I'm I am using Houdini since 18. I believe that the only one that took more time, which was something around 1 month, was actually the 20.5. Keep in mind that next week will be the SIGGRAPH, this technology event that happens on most places on the world. They are going the all presentation roster will be will be focused only to show the new stuff from this version of Houdini. So who knows? Probably we are going to have it for the same time of the SIGGRAPH presentation, which I believe it is on August 12 or starting on August 10 to 12. Don't remember. Or maybe we will have it like a next week after the SIGGRAPH presentation. So in that case, will be in 2 weeks. I don't know. That's my bet. And I hope so, because I am interested to test the new stuff for Karma. Okay, the other thing, thinking about learning it, just not sure if shouldn't wait until 21 gets released. That's an interesting thing. I believe that I can say that it is always a good time to start doing the first baby steps in Houdini, because the new stuff definitely won't affect at all the initial learning phase that a user can have. So yeah, I think if you have time these weeks, you can actually start doing some initial tests. There is, let me show you something on their website. But I think that actually it can be, if you have the time, it can be a good plan to use this, I don't know, 1, 2, I hope no, but 3 weeks to start doing the first baby steps. And yeah, they're going to present Houdini, the Houdini 21 presentation will be from August 12 to 14. But yeah, you can use this time to do your first baby steps, learning the basics of Houdini, and with that, as soon as Houdini 21 gets released, you can actually are like a more ready to play with the new stuff. Definitely COPS will be the more interesting thing to play with it, but I don't know which software you are using right now, but you know that the Nodes language is the first big difference that we find in Houdini coming from another softwares. And the same thing with Copernicus. They are nodes based compared to what we have in another kind of image editors. It is more similar to, more or less, to Substance Designer, I can say. So, but with the power of Houdini, because the thing is that the most powerful thing is that now Copernicus talks with the whole other section from Houdini, which means that you can bring stuff from your 3D scenes, rasterize it, do whatever you want, or create attributes in Copernicus and bring them back into your 3D scene. So there are a lot of possibilities. That's what I think is it can be like the problem of Houdini at the beginning. It's like a very, very open, wide world, you know. So it's not like there is no only one way to do your stuff, and sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelmed, at least for me. So it's like you learn the Houdini language eventually, and learn how to do stuff. So you can learn how to do something. So yeah, it is a good thing to play with it, try to do one same thing with multiple ways. So that can be a very good piece of advice. Another very extreme advice can be that focus to learn at the beginning on, or to understand how the geometry works, okay, and also how the groups and the attributes works. Most important, the attributes, because actually that's everything in Houdini. If you see all of these simulation nodes or abstract nodes or whatever, they are just working with attributes most of the time, or with groups, or with some specific code blocks. But you can eventually also do some expressions and more technical work to improve your work. But yeah, definitely the first thing that I recommend to focus the learning is to understand the attributes. Okay, you are using ZBrush and learning Maya at the moment. Think about hopping to Houdini for some scenes. Love the stuff from it. Also, Maya and Houdini both run on Material X, which is great. And also don't forget that Maya now is it's using a lot of USD, of OpenUSD. I don't know if you already heard about it, but OpenUSD is a format, but at the same time is an ecosystem developed by Pixar, which is very, very interesting and useful, and sometimes a headache to build the scenes workflows. I believe that I don't remember if I shared if I made some lives about it, but you can take a look to the I don't remember them. Man, dude, sorry. Today I am forgetting all the names. But okay, I remember. Adam Swap has a very good tutorials. Oh, I don't know why my camera just make a big zoom in on my face, but Adam Swap has some very nice tutorials on the SideFX website and YouTube channel that you can take a look. They are very simple, very to introduce Solaris. And Solaris is the part of Houdini where you can learn, where you can work with OpenUSD. So yes, you can build everything in Houdini with USD and Material X and send it to Maya and do the final render there and so on. It's a very interesting thing for the pipeline work. So yeah, I recommend, maybe, yeah, definitely if you have the chance this week, maybe you can start to taking a look to Houdini. Don't need to wait for the new release. And of course, at this point, I just forgot what, no, I remember what I was going to show you. Here on the website, you can see on the Learn section, you have a lot of things, but you can find this one, which is called Learning Paths. And on the Learning Paths, you have, well, then it is on the name, you know. You can see the learning path that you can start to follow to learn Houdini. For example, the getting started. Here you will do like the foundation of geometry, looks of character work, using KineFX, which is another tool set to work with characters most of the time, and they are very, very interesting. So I also recommend a lot the tutorials from Hip Flask to start with Houdini. He teaches very, very well. Also the tutorials from Peter Arcara. You can find his lives on YouTube as Houdini Hangouts. Yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of very good stuff can be found here to start playing with Houdini. I didn't know that there is a learning path from Copernicus. I saw most of these videos and they are pretty cool. So yeah, definitely save this as a bookmark. Yeah, start when you have a chance, and don't forget to have patience, because again, the Houdini language can be a little bit different. Okay, we jump out of the 21 sneak peek, but let's go back to it. Okay, we already spoke about this new in-time editor to correcting poses, which looks interesting. Let's see once we have it. Okay, we have looks like we have here start to have like some non-simulated volume stuff like this Pyro thruster exhaust, and looks like they are implementing some like a fake volume, or maybe they are not fake, I don't know, but they are creating this probably using Copernicus, and they works very well. And they added an insane amount of Pyro presets, which looks very good. I mean, I think one of my favorite is this one that has, I don't know, probably 3 frames on the trailer, the stylized fire. I have a friend that worked for multiple cinematics from video games, and I remember that he told me one time that one of the most challenging and fun things that they had to do was stylized effects. So definitely a pretty good thing to have on the presets library. What else we can see here? Okay, we can see here the ML up resizing. This looks very interesting. The result for me, and probably for most of cases, can be enough and works pretty well. So we can compare it here. Something that I really want to start to see, hopefully at any moment from SideFX, is the upload the trailers on a bigger resolution than 1080, because YouTube penalize a lot the 1080 resolution videos, and with a very aggressive compression, and of course we can't check the tiny details of the videos. That's why I try to upload most of the time my videos on 4K. Well, I mean, at this level, with this kind of compression, definitely the machine learning up-res looks fantastic. I hope that we can see the same once we have it in our machines. But yeah, this one looks very good too. Okay, and this is what I was trying to say before. Here we can see in the description they are mentioning the COP sparse Pyro on 3D, and I believe that there is or the 2D version which is called Flow, which is the next demo. I don't entirely understand this part, but yeah, looks like somehow they are like doing some rasterization on the 3 dimensions, on the 3 axes, to make this kind of very quick volumes with a lot of black magic from Copernicus. So, but yeah, the result looks very good. And you're welcome, Flick. I hope that everything that I show you worked for you. Yeah, this tornado looks pretty awesome, and this is the part that one of the most interesting things for me, at least, because, well, most of my work is for abstract work, for motion design stuff. I know that probably the XK and the Panoply guys will make some very awesome renders using this. It looks like it's a fluid solver, but 2-dimensional, maybe similar to the 2-dimensional Pyro solver that we already have in Houdini. I don't know. Of course, maybe not entirely, because the 2D solver is still a voxel 2D, but in COPs it's 2D, but the COPs are voxels too. I don't know. It's a little bit abstract at this point for me, but so Yeah, this looks very interesting. You can see, well, I believe that here they are showing that they are, okay, of course they are doing some fluid simulation and using it for materials, but at the same time, I believe that what we are looking here, they are using the generated data from Copernicus to control the simulations, and that's what it is interesting. Maybe they are somehow creating vector fields or just driving some volume attributes with this, or probably both cases, I don't know. But and this is the first time that I mentioned it. They are using the flow to drive some stuff directly on simulation. They added a reaction diffusion cup node, and this is fun because I remember that one of the first things that I remember to see when I jumped into Houdini was that everyone was doing reaction diffusion inside of a solver. It was like the trending thing, the trending tutorial, you know, to do. At that time, well, I come from the Cinema for the World, and I switched to Houdini back in 2020. And yeah, it's like we already did the whole circle, you know. But yeah, very interesting to have this node. Probably we are going to start to see again a lot of reaction diffusion renders for Instagram and shoes commercial and that kind of things. Okay, this is definitely one of the most important things from the trailer that it is not directly mentioned, but right now on Houdini 20.5 we don't have handles on Copernicus, but as you can see here on the left side we finally are going to have handles, which is basically the controllers that we can have directly in viewport. It is interesting because maybe it is also open to Python states. Python states is how Houdini called the possibility to create your own handles. So probably we will start to see a lot of people doing some crazy controllers directly in COPs. So yeah, it's like we are not going to need Illustrator. Maybe not too extreme, but definitely a lot of works can be done now directly here in Houdini, which is great. Another thing that it is not mentioned on the trailer is that now we are going to have also a very good one is a fetch node in COPs. The fetch node is basically a wireless node that we can find in Fusion or in Nuke. So you don't need to do these very overwhelmed spaghetti setups of nodes, because now you can just call the nodes without make a connection. It's like an object merge, but in COPs. And yeah, that's the full list. That's everything. I think that there is a lot. I think that we can take a look, just to don't take too much more of your time. We can take a look to the notes that Animatrix shared on the forum, because I think that there are a few important hints hidden on these notes. Unfortunately, there are even some notes that they are not displayed on this list because they are hidden by the SIGGRAPH logo on the trailer. So they are actually related to Solaris and the neural point stuff. A lot of users start to sharing a lot of thoughts here, and definitely kudos to the SideFX team. Okay, this is a complete list. You can find this list if you want to take a closer look on the Houdini forum, for example. Yeah, this is the home of the forum, and it is here on the Houdini launch. And you can find here this thread called Houdini 21 sneak peek. Okay, I think that we already spoke a lot about Apex stuff. Looks like there might be also some stuff for KineFX, which I already mentioned that's the other system to work with characters and reading. We're going to have some updates about the ragdolls. I'm going to jump that. Animation tools and graph editor. We have a few things that I believe they are mentioned here. GPU accelerated skin and blend shape deformation. That's okay. I don't remember. It looks like it is not. Ah, yeah, this one. Now the graph editor move on the graph editor is 6 times faster, which is cool. I hope that we can see also some extra goodies on the animation editor. I remember that a while ago I shared like a very nice presentation to SideFX, mentioning that it will be nice to have some tool set to the graph editor like we can find in Maya or in Cinema 4D. I don't know, to do some very custom thing. Well, not very custom, but they are more functional stuff to manage the keyframes, like flip the keyframes, repeat them, and those kind of things. Okay, as you can see here, the motion mixer is the name of the non-linear editor that we saw on the trailer. What else we have here? Interesting from the animation tools, but I believe the other thing that it is not mentioned here. No, I believe that the other ones are below. Okay, we already spoke also about the character effects regarding the muscles toolset and the new character called Oro. We are going to have a few updates on the grooming tools. Okay, let's make a new stop here on the geometry modeling and environment. Also, let me know if you can see the text. Probably it is very small for the live stream because my screen is very big and sometimes I forgot that the streaming is like a common size screen. Okay, here we have well, the shot sculpting toolset is the other new non-linear editor that we also saw. Let's see how that one looks very interesting. Let's see how actually it can be used for not only character work, or maybe yeah, it is only focused for character work. I don't know. We are going to have some new brushes for the sculpt node. What else? There is another 2 or 3 things interesting from this section. Okay, this one is interesting because it is related to another one from the render section, but the ability to extract geometric contours procedurally with frame coherence. I believe that this is related to the new feature for Karma that creates outlines controls for the geometry to create toon renders or non-photorealistic renders. So probably we will see a lot of toon shader works after this Houdini release, which is very interesting. The toon shading is a very nice area to explore. This one sounds interesting to me on subdivide node to reduce the polygon. Well, the name is very clear. It is very interesting to have a on subdivision possibility without doing a remeshing. I mean, yeah, on subdivide would be the same that remesh, but keeping the topology. Okay, we're going to have some performance improvement with geometry groups. There is another interesting one here. A few updates on the quad remesh node. I don't know if it is still on beta or if it will be like finally the final release. For now, at least on Houdini 20.5, I believe that Exoside quad remesher is still giving me better results than the one that comes with Houdini, but the quad remesher from Houdini, it is very fast in most cases. It doesn't give you too much headaches if you are using it with tops. So yeah. What is that? What we have here? More quad remesh stuff. Okay, yeah, this is another one that caught my attention. Many enhancements to polyextrude sub. Definitely, I am very curious about what can be those many enhancements to the polyextrude sub, which already was like a yeah, very solid one, but it does the work as expected, right? The polyextrude sub. Maybe we can have more controls about the subdivisions or how the extrude process is, or maybe some attributes. I don't know. I believe that those are the highlights from this section. Redesign a cup for hydraulic terrain erosion. No, that's something that we already saw. And neural brush based terrain generation. This also sounds interesting. And the scattering tools in Copernicus sounds interesting too. Okay, the Pyro and crowd works, we already covered it completely, and then NPM, we also spoke a lot about it. Okay, this is something else interesting, the Karma host and XP rendering. Okay, we have some base improvements that are very good, like a faster and memory efficient improvement on subdivision surface. What else? I believe that also they improved the GGX scattering method for reflection of the material, but I don't know if I saw that here on the list. Okay, but there is another one interesting here. Let me find it here. Synchronize. Well, looks like on this release, definitely right now the CPU and XPU will. I don't know if they are going to match completely, but definitely they are going to be extremely closer to the result, which is a very nice thing to have. Definitely you can develop your scenes maybe with Karma XPU, and if it is a heavy scene you can just send it to a farm and render it with CPU, and probably will be cheaper than render it with XPU. That's the typical case scenario for rendering with this kind of render engines that supports both rendering methods. Okay, there is another interesting one here that I can find. I mean, there are some very nice ones here, but they are very technical. Okay, well, you can see here that also the texture baker that I already mentioned, it is on the list here, and also the outline generation that I mentioned just a few minutes ago. Okay, I believe this is the thing that caught most of my attention. We're going to have a precompiled render kernels for faster startup, and also optimized set compilation for user-defined shaders. One of the things that definitely is not my favorite thing about Karma right now until Houdini 20.5 is that, I mean, again, I do a lot of kind of abstract stuff, right? And sometimes I throw a bunch of nodes, a lot. I don't like that sometimes that I am working with Karma. Let's say that, for example, the render session started without subsurface scattering, and if I enable the subsurface scattering, I need to wait for a few seconds to Karma to compile that now the shader has subsurface scattering, and then it has again the faster interaction, because definitely Karma it has a very fast interactive render session. So that's, but yeah, I am enable a lot of stuff, disabling a lot of stuff a lot of time during my look development session. So that's one of the things that I definitely didn't like it. But looks like it will be very improved on this new version of Houdini. So I will start to bring more stuff with Karma, and let's see how it goes. The other thing that I didn't like it is that there was a limit about how many standard surfaces you can combine on the same stream. Definitely, well, now they are the limitation is up to 16 standard surface. Before this, the limitation was 2. I mean, 16 definitely it's a lot. I don't need 16 probably. But especially because the render engines takes a lot of time to compute the result of the materials if you combine surface shaders instead of do your combination stuff before plugging them into a surface shader. I mean, it is faster to compute RGB or a float data rather than a surface. So, I mean, I probably with 5 was enough, but definitely glad to see that now the limit will be 16. And yeah, this is another big thing, the multi-importance sampling compensation is something needed for Karma, especially for XPU, because XPU doesn't have enough control for sample noise. With Karma XPU, we have a common kind of control for sampling, like you can tackle the sample of the reflection or the transmission directly. In XPU, you have a global sample and something which was introduced, I believe, on the previous version, on 20.5, which is called the Oracle. But even with that, sometimes control the noise on Karma might be complicated or can take a lot of time to be solved. And that's why, of course, what you need to introduce the noisers. But yeah, you know that if you have a lot of noise and you put the noiser, you are going to lose a lot of crispness from your render. So yeah, nice thing to have. Definitely, I am very excited to test new version of Karma. Okay, general UI and UX. We have something interesting here. I believe it is here, maybe on the Vulkan section, I don't know. But okay, this one. This wasn't called on the trailer. We are going to have a new playback mode called Forever, so you can advance the playback. Well, it is very simple to understand with the name. Sorry, I am receiving a call. Okay. For example, it's like, I guess it will work like similar to Embergen, because in Embergen you have by default, I believe, like a forever playback, or with a very extended limit. I don't remember. The same thing with live simulation. I guess it is very similar. We're going to be able to run simulations forever, but in this case continuously after the playback. And this one can be a very good thing to have. Also, if you press Control clicking on reset simulation, it will also clear the memory cache, which is a nice thing to have. Okay, I think there are like 2 or 3 more things interesting from here. This is okay, Houdini engine, SideFX Labs. This release will be focused mostly on biome toolsets. They already showed something about this on a previous talk, I believe. So it is very interesting. Okay, about Vulkan viewport. As I already told you, it should be production ready with all the stuff that we already have with OpenGL. Again, I hope that we also find a nice performance improvement from previous version at hopefully less viewport bugs. But yeah, this is still being developed. Probably we are going to still seeing a lot of enhancement of Vulkan on the upcoming updates. we're going to have, but I believe this is already on Houdini 20.5, but the ambient occlusion, maybe the current implementation is not ray traced. I don't know, but I mean, it doesn't affect too much. Now the instance of USD lights will be displayed. The lighting instance was introduced on the previous version or in Houdini 20, I don't remember, but you can't see them on viewport. You only are able to see them on the render engine. In this case, of course, Karma or Redshift or whatever. And this is something that definitely it is very interesting for me. They are mentioning here on the Vulkan section that they added OpenPBR shader support, but this is not displayed on the Karma section, which makes me wonder why. Because, well, you might already know, but the OpenPBR is this new version or evolution of the standard surface material implementation developed by Autodesk. Now the OpenPBR implementation is a sub-development from the same Material X project, and the idea is that all the modern render engines support OpenPBR. The implementation is very similar to the standard surface, but in theory better. I like it. I like most of it. I already play with it with Redshift, but yeah, I am curious that it is mentioned here on Vulkan, but not on the Karma. I hope that we can have OpenPBR in Karma also. That will be something good. But let's see. And well, the plenty of stuff from Copernicus, which are a lot. So yeah, that's it, guys. I think that we covered a lot of stuff. Let me know what you think, and maybe, well, which are your favorite ones. Mine definitely is the cups stuff. It looks like we are going to have a good Houdini 21 release. If I have to put one like a favorite release from Houdini 18, which is the one that I started to use, probably my favorite one was Houdini 19 or 19.5, something like that. That version comes with a lot of improvements, especially for Solaris and Velum, if I remember. But yeah, the NPM looks extremely powerful. Well, definitely, and also the 20.5 is one of my favorites because that's where the Copernicus started to appear on the show. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff to play with it, and probably we're not going to have the chance to play with everything on before Houdini 21.5. So well, I hope you like this space. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the live that today I also released an update from the last tool that I released, which is called Die Install Libs. It's a little tool, shelf toolset that that will help you a lot to install Houdini libraries very easy. Definitely, if you are not a fan of how to handle the libraries installation in Houdini, you need to take a look to that toolset. You can find the link below on the description, and or just also check my videos about the tool on my channel. So yeah, that's everything for today. I hope you like the live. Also, I believe that the music stops. But I'm going preparing here everything to finish the live. But okay, I think that's everything. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for you guys that sharing some stuff on the chat. I will try to share more things here. I also want I am preparing some stuff because I want to kind of celebrate that I reached 1K of subscribers on my YouTube channel, which is something great. And I want to celebrate it by sharing maybe some tutorials or breakdowns and also a free scene or something like that. You know, just follow me on Twitter and Instagram and the social to stay tuned of what I'm going to share next. Okay, have a great day and see you later. Bye bye.